Happy Black History Month, and welcome to Miss Erika's StoryTime. Hi. Now, with all the talk lately of the ineptitude of the DEI, I decided to utilize Black History Month to introduce some folks who have made contributions to society, but may not have been given their due. A story that hasn't been told and has been the biggest secret of all time. Allow me to introduce Ellen and William Craft, who were part of the greatest escape of all time. Long story short, Ellen was a product of the master's fun time with someone other than his wife, and a constant reminder to her. In 1837, Ellen turns 11 and is given as a wedding gift to live with her half-sister, Eliza, in Mason, Georgia. Ellen carries on and eventually meets the man of her dreams and marries him after 2 years, and William is ready to have a family. Ellen refuses to have a child that can be given away at a whim, and William responded with, "Well, we must find a way to freedom." Now, William's plan was Ellen would dress up like a man on his way to a medical appointment, and he would act like her slave, and they would leave Christmas Day, as that was the only day slaves got passes to visit family. They left early that morning for freedom in Philadelphia, knowing if caught, they would be killed. Ellen passes the first test on board a train. Then she has to go on to a boat, then to a hotel where she has to wait for the train while William is in the slave quarters. Ellen encounters several people, a slave trader, a slave owner, on her travels. They land in Philadelphia, but are advised to go to Boston. And through an underground network of folks, they arrive and live free for 2 years, until the president passes the Fugitive Slave Act. The Crafts have to leave the United States immediately, and are assisted by their friends to board a ship heading to Liverpool, England. In the meantime, Eliza has sent 2 slave hunters to Boston to retrieve her property. But they are purposely misdirected and sent in the wrong direction, which gave Ellen and William plenty of time to board the boat and sail. The slave hunters arrive too late. The Crafts get away and in total have traveled 10,000 miles to freedom. It reveals how deviously clever one needed to be during slavery, and it wasn't for the weak or faint-hearted. DEI? Hi. Now, the idea of escaping is scary, but this escape took guts of steel. Robert Smalls was enslaved by Henry McKee, and for some reason or another had taken a shining to young Robert. His mother didn't want Robert to get confused about his place and asked that he work in the fields and see the realities of life. When Robert turned 12, his mother asked that he be hired out as a laborer in Charleston. Laborers earned $16, and Robert would earn $1, and McKee would get the rest. Smalls worked a variety of jobs until he was able to work where his heart lied, at sea. He worked the Charleston docks as a longshoreman, rigger, sailmaker, and finally as a helmsman. The enslaved couldn't actually get that title, but Robert knew just about everything there was to know about the Charleston harbor. At age 17, he marries and hopes to buy their freedom, but has only raised 100 of the 800 needed, which frustrated him as it could take decades. In April 1861, the Civil War had begun, and Smalls was assigned to the CSS Planter, a Confederate military ship whose responsibilities were to survey the water, lay the mines, deliver supplies, and troops. After being on the ship for a year, Smalls started formulating a plan of escape and told all of the enslaved working on board except one. On May 12, 1862, the planter was to pick up artillery at one port and ammunition at another, and then back to base. At base, Robert talks to the captain and asks if their families could visit. The captain agrees if they are gone before curfew and departs for the evening. Shortly thereafter, the last 3 officers exit off the boat to sleep ashore. Small changes into the captain's uniform, including straw hat. They pick up the family members and head off. They must pass 5 Confederate forts before they get to the Union ships. At each checkpoint, Smalls imitated his captain flawlessly. The final checkpoint was the most manned. Smalls steered the boat perfectly and gave the correct signals, and after a long minute, he was given the okay to sail his ship. After sighing with relief, they quickly changed their flag from a rebel flag to a white sheet and pray they're not attacked. The Union ship sees the planter and are about to shoot when they see the white flag. When the boat nears the ship, Robert announces that he has weapons for them. Robert Smalls, at 23, becomes a hero and is free, and one of the reasons President Lincoln enlisted black men to fight for the Union. After the war, he returns home and buys his former master's home, which had been seized for non-payment of taxes. The previous owner sued to retrieve the property, but the ownership remained with Mr. Smalls. He spent the next 9 months learning how to read and write and becomes a delegate for the Republican Party. He served as a member of the House of Representatives of Beaufort, South Carolina, from 1868 to 1887. He died in February 23, 1915, and these words are by his gravesite. My race needs no special defense, for the past history of them in this country proves them to be equal of any people anywhere. All they need is an equal chance in the battle of life. And I'll just leave that there. Thank you for watching. And please like, follow, and subscribe from wherever you're listening from. See you next time.